Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai.
To see the three forces within us and to see the three forces in life outside. Right? Say we take South Africa as a case. So, till 1990 there was no freedom over there. So, in life outside, it was like a prison, passive force. Right? But does that change anything inside? It doesn't change how we can work upon ourselves inside, even though the conditions may be more difficult. You understand? So somebody may come and say that I want to do all this, but my job does not allow me. Right? So, is that really an excuse? That is what I'm trying to ask you. There are three forces outside. So, in my outer life, there may be a lot of passive force. I have to go to job on time, this, that. But does that change observing the forces working inside? No. It cannot change. Right? So, life, the understanding of life, right? To use life as a stepping stone to move higher. Right? So whatever the outward condition has nothing to do with the inner condition. But there are still three forces in life and there are three forces inside. Right? And to understand life better, we have to observe them inside. Now, say in outer condition, I say job. Let us say take it as jail. I am in prison. Right? So somebody says that, okay, I'll help you to escape from prison. But then fear comes in me. And I say, no, I don't want to take that risk of escaping from prison. So that fear within me is a denying force. Can you see? It is a passive force. Even though I am in prison is a passive force. But the desire to be free of prison is again an active force. Right? So you have to see how these work within us. Now, can the same thing for one person be active force and for another person be passive force? How is it possible? Tell me how. Say we take a TV. Right? So say I'm very greedily looking at the TV. Then what force am I creating? Active force. But if I say no, if I buy this TV and my daughter's exams are coming, better not to. Looking at the TV, I am creating passive force. So, the same thing can be a conductor of, for one person, of an active force, for another person it can be passive force. So, in this way you have to study. So, something in us loves a person, something in us hates the same person. And it is this shift in forces that we have to continuously see. Now, which other law will be applicable over here? Have we talked about, I don't know, the law of the pendulum. The law of the pendulum. Everything in life always moves between two extremes, right? So please make an effort to first become conscious in first force. Every moment, what am I desiring? What do I want? Right? Two people may have the same education, the same degrees, right? But one person may land up in a village and wants to help up the poor, and another person may want to become the Prime Minister of the country. Can you understand? So the same thing for one person will conduct one kind of force, for another person will conduct a different kind of force. So we are second force blind, we are first force blind. Third force is of course very, very far away for us. Right? And we will not be able to open up the higher centers unless we come to an understanding of the working of the three forces. Now when we talk of centers, we will talk of 4 lower centers. Which are the 4 lower centers? Intellectual, emotional, moving, and instinct. Who said sex? Who said sex? Sex is not a sex. Now, which are the 2 higher centers? The 2 higher centers. So what we are talking about will come in which? Knowledge of the laws will come into higher thinking. A person whose higher thinking center is opened up, he will have a knowledge of the working of the 2 laws, the law of 3 and the law of 7. Right? Each moment in his life. These laws will be apparent in front of him. Right? In higher emotion, there will be a perception of the laws and there will be an appreciation of the laws. Now, he said something very important, the sex center. The sex center is a higher center also and a lower center also. We don't initially study the sex center, but tomorrow I'm going to take the sex center. Right? Okay. But the sex center rarely works properly. The sex center rarely works in its proper way. Can anyone tell me why? What is the first reason that sex center does not work in its proper way? We substitute tell me, ordinary sex with imaginary sex. It never allows the sex center to work in its right way. And what is the second reason that the sex center cannot work properly? The second reason the sex center cannot work properly. It is habituated to flow outwards. As we take attention inside, it starts flowing inwards. What is the second reason? Most important, that sex center cannot work properly. Tomorrow we'll have a look at the sex center as we go into the centers, because the sex center interferes with the working of the other centers interfere with the working of the sex center. But why negative emotion? Why negative emotion? Why negative emotion? Why negative emotion? Why negative? Have we done the transformations of food? Okay. I will just go into it. Why negative emotion? Why the sex center cannot work properly? Okay, I'll just take it very fast. I'll take the transformations of food and then we'll come back to this. Last time we did not take the transformations of food. I'm sure we did. No? Mixing up. Huh? We did? I'll just quickly go through it. Food we eat goes in the mouth, goes in the stomach, and from the stomach it goes in the intestines. The blood vessels wrap around the intestines. They extract substances. What was the first substance we said was extracted from food? What was the first substance? No, don't bring in science. Huh? Don't bring in science. Don't bring in naturopathy and all. The first substance extracted from food is magnetism. Magnetism. So the food goes into the intestines, the blood vessels wrap around the food, and the first thing they extract is magnetism. What does this magnetism do? What does it do? It subjects us to the law of attraction and repulsion. Repulsion. It subjects us to the law of attraction and repulsion. What else does it do? What is the main purpose of magnetism? Main purpose. Supposing I want to design a house, what do I have to do? Supposing I'm an architect. Of course, I'm not an architect, but supposing? What do I have to do? I have to conceive of an idea. Right? So, there must be the ability to hold one thought, the ability to hold an idea. Right? To conceive an idea. Right? It is this magnetism which allows us to hold thoughts, to hold ideas, to conceive ideas. Somebody writes a poem, somebody does this, somebody does that. So, the first thing which we extract from food is magnetism. Magnetism. Right? What is the second thing? Now, the food, of course, I'm not going into the law of 7. We will take that some other time because I can't do that in 3 days. It took me 1 year in Baroda to do it. So, this is all the law of 7. Okay? But we want to go to the law of 3, understand it. So, now, what is the second thing? The food goes into the blood as nutrients. The blood goes in the liver. Which blood does it meet in the liver? Which blood does it meet in the liver? It meets the blood which is coming from breathing. It meets the blood. So the food blood and the breathing blood, they become one in the liver, and from the liver they go to the brain. And in the brain, what is extracted? Which is the next substance extracted? Motor electricity. Motor electricity. It takes care of all our conscious functions. I want to lift my hand like this. The brain sends a message to these muscles. They contract. That is which electricity? Motor electricity. Motor electricity is also responsible for all our thinking. All our thinking. The food goes further in the brain, and one more electricity is extracted, that is called as reflex electricity. There are so many functions in the body which happen automatically. These are reflex functions. I eat food, the stomach decides how much of hydrochloric acid is necessary. It is not a motor function. I don't have to think, okay, so many grams of hydrochloric acid. It happens automatically. These are reflex functions. All my emotions are reflex functions. The speed of reflex electricity is more than double the speed of motor electricity. So can good thoughts lead to good emotions? It's not possible. All the newspapers have thought for the today, it's all rubbish. They cannot lead to anything. Because through thinking you cannot control emotions. It's double the speed. It's double the speed. All our emotions are reflex. We do not have a single conscious emotion. I cannot consciously fall in love with somebody. I fall in love. I don't rise in love. Right? We don't have a single conscious emotion. Everything is reflex. Right? Now, all these transformations happen in the brain. Now, the final product of food is sex energy. Final product of food is sex energy. And sex energy is not made in the brain, it is made in the lower part of the body. This is the problem. The body is a 3-storied machine, building. Thinking, emotions, right? Sex, moving, instinct. Thinking, What does this mean? Three-storied, just in relevance for what we are doing today. In relevance to what we are doing today. Three forces. We are looking at the body through the body-brain system through the angle of the three forces. We have divided it into three. There is another way of looking at it. When we study the law of seven, we will look at it in a totally different way. The same thing. Right? But just now we are looking at it through one angle, through the angle of the three forces. We have divided it into thinking, emotions, instinct moving. Now, we said that motor electricity and reflex electricity are made in the brain. Sex energy is made here. So the food from the brain has to travel right down. And in between it has to cross the midsection of the body-brain system. What does it have to cross? And what does emotions do? What does emotions do? Huh? Every moment I'm in irritation. Huh? They hardly allow anything to reach over here. They hardly allow anything to reach over here. Right? I get irritated on you. So then the quality of the food which reaches over here has already been spent over here in the middle story. What will go there to reach the sex energy? Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Then when my child is 15 years old, I'm complaining to him, he doesn't listen to me and he's... Can you understand? This is a very basic thing. So, all the energy is spent in between over here. The whole day from morning. Either I've got angry on my wife, or my boss has got angry and I've had to suppress that anger, or there's too much traffic. Right? And by evening, how much of energy reaches down over here? Nothing. The quality of sex energy which our systems make is a very terrible quality. Because everything, all the energy is used up, blasted halfway. It goes away halfway. Right? So, it's very different. The sex center does not work properly. Sex center is in a mess. Right? And the first thing on any spiritual journey is that we have to bring the sex center back to its natural state. And that means there is no place for just write it down. Because one blast from here, nothing goes down there. One blast from here. That's it. And don't say, oh, so many days I controlled it, but today I got angry. There's no place at all. No place at all. It's gone, is gone. This is the most precious energy. What does sex energy do? Sex energy can move in two directions. Out and in. out and in. When it moves out, what does it do? It creates children. It creates children. And what to the father and mother, children give a false, no, I can't say false, but they do give a feeling of, a kind of feeling of, do they? I'm just asking you one question. All of you, most of you have children, right? Okay, now, supposing I ask somebody who does not have a child, right? That what is your fear of death? And after that person has a child, what is your fear of death? Will there be a difference? Does the having of a child give a sense of, now if death wants to come, it can come. In normal life, forget all this. In normal life, have we experienced this? Have we experienced this? In our normal life, that there is a fear of death, but after, say, I have a son or a daughter, there is a sense of continuity. Now, if death comes, it doesn't matter. I can adjust. I can make terms with death. Okay, sort of. Is it because of the child or is it because of sex energy? Sex energy. Sex energy. So, now that same sex energy, when it goes out into normal life, I have a son or a daughter, and the very having of that son or a daughter gives me a feeling of continuity, right? And I'm now suddenly not so frightened of death. So much of fear has gone away from me. What will happen if that sex energy moves inward? What will happen? Will I master death or not? It will bring real immortality. Then death cannot do something to anything to that person whose sex energy has moved in the backward direction. In the backward direction. Right? So the sex center is very, very important. Very, very important. Right? Now, sex energy will follow what? See, in old Shastra, when we study the Indian Shastras, they have different words. They won't use all these kind of words. They'll say, prana ne ichha bhegi jai. I don't know how to say it. They'll say, pran and desire will move together. Right? So, sex energy will follow what? Attention. Attention is the key to turn sex energy from out to in. With the inward moving attention, sex energy will start moving inwards. Right? Okay, so tomorrow we'll take the sex center a little bit. But negative emotion is very, very important, because if the energy which is going down into sex itself, the basic raw material is not of proper quality, then the finished product cannot be. If the raw material is not of enough amount, right, then the finished product cannot be of that quality, and it has to be. Now, yeah. All negative emotions, self-pity, irritation, jealousy, self-love. Which is the biggest negative emotion? Tell me. Which is the biggest one? Huh? Self-love. The personality starts with a name. Right? That name, when somebody calls me by my name, it gives me a feeling of self. When somebody insults my name, I feel. So I have fallen in love with my own name. This is self-love. Everything starts from here. This is the primary negative emotion. It is the hub of the wheel. Then my girlfriend is talking to somebody, jealousy. Can you see? Self-love, my girlfriend, as if anything can be mine. But my girlfriend, jealousy. Right? Is that it? No, everything goes around self-love, my, personal. Right? Irritation. Right? It rained on my birthday. Yeah. Nobody turned up for the party. Irritation. What is there? My birthday. Rain on your birthday doesn't make any difference. Huh? Self-love. So everything, all the, what do you call, spokes come out of self-pity. Nobody bothers about me. Nobody thinks about me. Self-pity. Vanity. I am the best. Comes out of self-love. Pride. Justification. I was not wrong. Maybe it is his fault, but definitely not my fault. Justification. All this comes out of self-love. Every moment we are losing that energy, and we lose it, and the energy has one final transformation. It goes into sex energy. It can't go over there because it's wasted. You know, Mr. Tavaria, when he started his talks in 1981, I don't know how many of us have read the papers of 1981. They've been published in a book called Discourses. And there were 5 people in the first lecture in 1981. And the first talk was on sensitiveness, sensitivity. What is sensitiveness and sensitivity? We'll relate it to the sex center. We relate it to the sex center. Sensitiveness, sensitivity. It's very, very important. Very important. This is the KG, the first step. The first step is the last step. Or I'll change this sensitiveness. I'll put another word for that. Reaction. Excitement. Excitement.
Sensitivities. I have sensitivity of not reacting. I think that sensitivity is there, and that sensitiveness will not affect.
There's a, huh?
Sensitivity is there, and that sensitiveness will not affect.
There can be awareness. There may not, still can be sensitivity. Right? Many times you see that some couples, they've grown very old, but there's a beautiful sensitivity in their relationship. They may not know anything about awareness. Right? Now, are we still attracted to excitement or sensitivity? Do we still need to be excited? Are we still searching in life for excitement? Otherwise we are bored. Otherwise we are bored. We are always looking for something to excite us. Right? So there is a shift from excitement to sensitivity. Right? And sensitivity has its own enjoyment. Its own enjoyment. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? In excitement, I need something new. There has to be a new serial, a new movie. Right? In excitement, I always need something new. But in sensitivity, I extract enjoyment from something old also. There is no question of boredom. Now, in excitement, attention will always flow outside. For sensitivity, attention has to move inward. Move inward. Right? Now, in sensitivity, it has its own joy. In excitement, there is a satisfaction, there is no joy. There is an up and there is a down. I'm waiting for a new movie and it has just come, I go and see it and there is a big high and then there is a down. Right? In sensitivity, there is no up and down, it's always an up. It's always an up. There is joy. Just in the sensitivity of the thing, just in the touch of the thing, just in the feeling, just in the doing of the thing. There is a joy. Now, let's add to this sex energy. Now, when sex energy comes into its own natural state, which is very difficult, very, very difficult, but if it comes into its own natural state, it starts permeating every cell of the body, it starts expanding. The meaning of the word Brahma is to expand. So it starts expanding the sex energy. And in that expansion, it starts filling up the cells of the body. What will it do? What will it do? What will happen in this transformation of sex energy? What will happen to this? What relationship of sex energy to sensitivity. Now, am I coming across in this? Nay, you're not getting it.
Maybe a permanent state of joy or satisfaction.
Right. Now, the feeling of just having tea is, say, sensitivity. But supposing sex energy merges with this, then what kind of joy will it bring? The joy will be orgasmic. See, so when sex energy starts working in its normal state, when sex energy is produced properly in the body-brain system, that sex energy expands and it moves with the energy of sensitivity. Then the small sensitivities of life, the small touching of life, that sex energy permeates. It permeates. And each small thing in life starts bringing joy. An orgasmic kind of joy. It permeates so much that it can permeate into the sensitivity of seeing. You see in a different way. You feel in a different way. You speak in a different way. You hear in a different way. This is the transformation of sex energy. And then comes the transmutation of sex energy, where we change it into a totally different substance. Right? So that is the sex center. So these are the centers in the body-brain system. Right? Now, why do we want to study the centers? 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 I touched upon it last time. Why do we want to study the centers?
To understand how body mechanism works and identify with a different personality.
Mm-hmm. What is our aim? Consciousness? This is our aim. આપણું લક્ષ્ય શું છે? Consciousness. Our aim is consciousness. Right? Now, where is consciousness? Where is consciousness? Yes, but where? Where do we have to extract that consciousness from?
Second.
Where is consciousness? Okay, forget consciousness just now. This is our aim, consciousness. Now, again, why are we studying the centers? Let's go back to that, then come to it. Why are we studying the centers?
To know the source.
We spoke that when we know we have knowledge, there is a transmutation and the neutral force becomes stronger. And this, just a few hours ago, we spoke that when we have more knowledge, there is a transmutation, there is more neutral force, more sub keeps getting added. To add that.
No. Why are we studying the centers? Why do we want?
No, are we using the right center at right time?
No, I've written the word essence. That is why I've written the word essence there.
Get rid of the false personality.
No, okay, forget it. Put it in another way. Where are all the centers? Are they in the essence or personality? Okay, now we've come to something. We are born with all the centers. They have not come after somebody has given me a name. Every baby which is born has a capacity to think. Right? Every baby which is born has a capacity to feel, has a capacity to move, and has an instinctive center. Right? So, when we are born, the essence comes with 4 functions: thinking, feeling, moving, sensing. The essence comes with these 4 inbuilt functions. No father teaches the child how to think. It is inbuilt in his essence. He may teach him what to think. He may teach him what to think, but he cannot teach him how to think. He comes with the capacity to think. So, in our essence, these functions are there. Now, on this essence, we build a personality. So, my capacity to think, I am born with the capacity to think. What I think in life becomes my Am I coming across in this? You understand? I am born with the capacity to think, but what I fill into that thinking center becomes it is the acquired side of me. This is my acquired side. This is my real side. Right? I am born with the capacity to feel. Right? What I feel about in life is my personality. It is my acquired side. Can you understand? I am born with the capacity to move, but I don't become a sportsman. Somebody else becomes a big sportsman. So, what he puts into the capacity to move is his personality. But the capacity to move came with the essence. Right? Now again our aim is consciousness. Where is consciousness? Now it will become clear. Where is consciousness? A normal man who knows, is consciousness mixed with his functions? A normal man, when he is thinking, he is not conscious of his thinking. Can you understand this? So consciousness is mixed with the function of thinking. When normal man is feeling, he says, I like this and I don't like this, and this is very good and this is very bad. His consciousness is mixed with the function of feeling. It's mixed with the function of moving and sensing. So consciousness, the essence comes with functions. Consciousness is not a part of the essence, but it is mixed with the functions. Now is it clear? And what is the purpose of being born? The only purpose of being born is that you come with these functions. Can you separate consciousness from the functions, or when you die, is consciousness a part of the functions only? Have you separated consciousness from are you thinking and observing your thinking at the same time? Then you have separated consciousness from the function of thinking. If you are feeling and observing the feeling at the same time, you have separated consciousness from the function of feeling. Similarly for that. That is the only purpose of being born, that you are born with these 4 functions. These 4 functions. And life has only one purpose, and that is to use these functions in such a way that each moment you separate consciousness from the function. Because any moment in life you are in these 4. Even if you're sleeping. Any moment in life you are in these 4. And that is the whole aim of life, to separate consciousness from these four functions. And how much of consciousness we have separated, that's the story of our life. That's all what we have earned in life. Yeah, please.
What is the difference between awareness and the conscious?
Huh?
Awareness and the conscious.
2 words. Of course, I won't take Taoreaji's definitions because they are very difficult. Yeah. I remember in Madhupur he was giving a lecture on awareness and consciousness, and somebody asked him about awareness. So he said about 200 lifetimes it will take. And then somebody said that, but what about consciousness? He said, not for 1,000 lifetimes. I don't know if you've heard that lecture. It's worth hearing that lecture. It's worth hearing that lecture. Not for 1,000 lifetimes. And then he passed a beautiful statement. One day, consciousness will see itself through the eyes of awareness. But that is Taoreaji talking. Parsi Baba hoy ne bo akha bola hoy.
Huh? Recording inside you.
What?
What is recording inside you? Seriously.
Why?
Your flow is too good. God bless.
What is the difference of I am aware of my anger and I am conscious of my anger? I am aware of my anger and I am conscious of my anger.
And when you are getting angry, you can see it as conscious.
Presence is mixed with anger. Presence has gone to sleep with anger. Right? So, we will say there is no presence, it is a state of identification. I am identified with my anger. Right? But I know that I am identified with my anger. I know that I am identified with my anger. I don't know your name. Karthik. Okay. Right? So then what will we call that?
Some presence to my anger. I'm present and I'm angry.
No, I am angry. Let's make it simple. Forget presences now. I am angry. Do I know I am angry? No. I'm completely in anger. So presence is asleep with the anger. I'm absent. I've gone to sleep. I'm identified with the state of anger and I've gone to sleep. Right? And of course I'm very angry. Now, there is some knowledge of anger. What will you call that state? Awareness. See, many people come to me and they say, okay, ख्याल आवे छे, but I can't do anything. I know it, but he is aware of the anger. He is not conscious of the anger. He is aware of the anger. I know there is a lot of anger within me, but I can't do anything. I'm trying my best. I can ask my wife, I'm trying my best. Right? But can't do anything about it. But that is a kind of awareness. And that awareness can be zero and it can also be much more, to more and more subtle levels. It can be gross and it can be subtle. Right? But there is no presence. There is no presence. I'm still stuck with my anger. I'm still stuck with my anger. Now, I pour water in the glass. Right? Water takes the shape of the glass. Does water become the glass? No. But supposing we say that water has its own feeling and glass has its own feeling. Water forgets its own feeling and takes the feeling of the glass. The water has not become the glass. Glass. Right? But the water is hypnotized that it has become the glass. So instead of having its own feeling, it is now taken on the feeling of the glass. The I can never become the anger. Truth can never become untruth. But the I can forget its own feeling and take the shape of the glass. Anger. Right? And instead of having its own feeling, have the feeling of anger. But the I can never become anger. It is always pure. You understand what I'm trying to say? How many things are these? I, anger, feeling of I, feeling of anger. How many things do we have? 4. 4. Right? Now, when I completely becomes anger, right? There is only anger and feeling of anger. Even I am not aware of the feeling of anger. I am completely dissolved. Just there is anger. Right? Now in awareness, there is feeling of anger, but there is no feeling of I as separate from anger. In consciousness, there is feeling of anger. So there is anger and there is feeling of anger. There is presence, I. And there is a separate feeling of presence of I. There's that it has forgotten the feeling of, left the feeling. This I which had taken up the feeling of the water has dropped that. Arey, how did I forget my own feeling? And now there is feeling of I. So there is I, there is anger, there is feeling of I, feeling of anger. In consciousness there are 4 things. But if this feeling of anger, I is not there, it is still feeling of anger, there is only awareness. I know that I am angry, but there is no separate I whom I am feeling, who is completely different from the anger. I am aware that I am angry. I know. Many people come and say, I know, but it has no meaning. It is not consciousness. It is not consciousness. Can you see? Now it has dropped the feeling of the glass and taken back its own feeling of the water. Right? Difference between.
But in that case,
Huh?
if you are conscious, how can anger survive? If you are conscious, the anger cannot survive.
Cannot.
Conscious, then there cannot be a 4 feeling because there is no anger. There is only conscious.
Darkness goes in presence of light. It's gone. It cannot. It will go and become something totally different. But there is one state. There is one state. That you mentioned it, we'll talk about it. I would not have taken it. There is one state. Ullu bhanavano dhandho kehvaય. There is one state.
Like when you consciously become angry on children to study, you know that you are artificially.
No, there are other ways to handle children. Please don't consciously become angry. Please don't consciously become angry. I'll teach you how to become consciously angry. Just I'm going to teach you because he asked this question. Otherwise, I cannot take this. No? You know, when you start a business, no, then you go to somebody for some money. So that fellow or that, financial institution or something says that, okay, I'll give you the money, but I'll give you after 6 months. Right? So then you say that, what will I do for 6 months? I have to start the business now. So then you go to a bank and you tell the bank that I'm getting the money after 6 months, only I need the money for 6 months. So they give you a bridging loan. You know what is a bridging loan? Before your real loan comes, they give you a bridging loan. Something like that. Right? Okay. Now, what is the most precious energy we waste? Anger. Anger. Right? It is the highest fuse which we blow. Right? So, say there are so many different energies in the body-brain system, but the finest energy which we can't hold on to, it's too volatile, and we don't have that dharana shakti to hold it till it transforms. So we have to throw it out, and we need some excuse to throw it out, and it goes. And who takes that energy? Who takes that energy? Nature. 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 Now, what is the process? What is the process in this? Right? Is there... Oh, there's some in the glass, sorry. Is there a gap between my getting angry and the expression of anger? You get it? My getting angry and expression of anger. नहीं समझा? It's very fast. It's very fast. That is why I would not have talked about this, but because he has mentioned, I'm bringing this up. Just now it's very fast. I can't do anything about it. This is just what I'm talking is just all fairy tale. But let us talk about it. Now, supposing I get angry, I see I'm getting, and I don't express my anger, then who loses the energy? Nature. Nature. Nature is very clever. She needs this energy. She has no other source of this energy. No animal is going to give her this energy. No plant is going to give us this energy. All the energy comes from the sun, we transform it, and the highest energy which is produced in this system, she is waiting for that energy. And she's waiting, I have a fight with my wife and it goes out. And she's waiting, my son has not done his homework and it goes out. She's waiting. These are all, you think that the sun has not done it. We can't see the cosmic purpose in that nature has created that situation. Right?
You can't create the separation.
Huh?
You can't create the separation.
No, we are not talking about separation. We're talking. Hang on. So nature is, at this point she knows that I'm starting to get angry and I'm going to express the anger. So nature says that let me give him a bridging loan. Let me give him a bridging loan. This loan which nature gives, Tawaryaji has given a beautiful name to it, energy of essence of consciousness. Right? So she sees, array, son has not done the homework, and the father is now just, and she fills father with that energy. So father, when that energy comes in, father does not see the gap between getting angry and expressing the anger. It goes out. Nature gets her energy back and also the anger. She is laughing and she goes away. And father is drained of energy. She's created the situation. Okay? This bridging loan is a very, very potent energy. So what we do, not on the children, is that we allow ourselves to get angry. We allow nature to give that energy. So we take the anger to that stage where we fool nature into giving us a bridging loan. And then we go back, we don't get angry. And we cheat nature into giving us this energy of consciousness. And in that transformation of that anger, this new energy is the bridge to the inner Atma, the inner divine fragment. Something will open up. There will be a glimpse. And this is a very, very powerful technique. And it's very immediate. Very immediate. This is called Tantra. This is called Tantra. ऐसे था कि in the old days, the tantrics would do this with sex energy. Right? So what were they doing? The tantric, what happens in the act of sex? What happens in the act of sex? There is a release of sperm. Now that sperm is going to make a new child. Right? So at the point of release of the sperm, there is a center here called the bindu that vibrates. And that divine fragment, the Atma inside, puts his blueprint, chhabi. He puts its blueprint in that sperm. Okay, the new Atma is going to come in this child. So the whole design, the whole cosmic blueprint is in that small sperm. Right? And the tantrics knew this. The tantrics knew this. So what they would do, they would bring the sex energy to the point of release, fool that Atma into putting his blueprint, and then take it back. And when they take it back and it fills into the bloodstream, they put it into the prostrate and they would pump the prostrate. The prostrate would pump it into the bloodstream. They would go into divine bliss. Divine bliss. So they would fool the inner divine fragment, right? And they would take it up to a stage where he'll think now he's going to release and a new cosmic blueprint has to be put in those sperm. He'll put the new cosmic, his seed in the sperm. The seed is not put in the sperm till the point of release, and then they would take the sperm back, pump it into the blood system, And there would be an immediate inner, because now it is not just physical sperm. The divine fragment has added something into it. Energy of essence of consciousness. Can you see? These were all tantric techniques. We don't need to do it. Those are old techniques, but we can do it with anger. Much more powerful than doing it with sex energy. We can do the same technique. So in those states, you be a conscious anger and you hold the anger. You don't allow it to. You need it. You need it to cheat nature. Then you can cheat nature. But only in that state. Otherwise, in normal consciousness, anger transforms. It transforms. Has to transform. And it will transform into a very, very powerful, different energy. Later on, when we go into the deeper laws, we will see there are different kinds of sex energies. And the sex energy which goes into the normal sex center is a very, you see, can you see the transformations? Magnetism, motor electricity, reflex electricity, sex energy. Can you see the transformations? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's become very old. As if it's the end of life. What are we going to do with this sex energy? But anger is an immediate transformation of this anger. So the minute this is transformed, it is a young energy. This is an old energy. It has gone through so much of life and come over here. It is a young energy. Oh, it's a different kind of energy. Young.
Can you explain this with some practical example, like how the anger comes and how you are feeling? It's clear, but not that.
No, first of all, this what I've said is not for us. First of all, we are not even conscious of our anger. We have to work, first of all, to be free of anger. So for us, the first step is not to express the anger on anybody else. Now there are two stages of expression of anger. One is I express it on you grossly, and one I don't say anything to you. I say you're a very nice man and I express it inside. Both are expressions. Both are expressions. So first I am free of expressing it with you. Second, I am free of expressing it inside. Only then can I separate from the anger and be conscious of what the anger really is. If I express it inside, then I'm still in a state of identification. Can you understand? Right? Then I'm conscious of the anger. Then only I can do this. It's a very long journey. First we have to stop expressing it even inside. But we are still expressing it outside.
Tips to stop expressing inside if we can control outside.
The real tip is only value. The real tip is only value. What am I losing? What am I losing? I don't see what I'm losing. If every time I get angry, if I'm losing 1,000 rupees, I won't get angry. No? But what am I losing? It is not worth getting angry. No?
We see it building up. What point do we stop at? Right? What point of possession do we stop at? The very first feeling, I saw something. There's a rising that feeling.
The thing is, the minute you see it, you stop. Stop. Now the anger will pull you. It's not something which is going to just, you will stop and again the wave of anger will come and pull you. Again you will stop, again the wave of anger will come and pull you, and at some time you may get pulled also. It is a continuous inner struggle, right? And in that struggle many times anger will be victorious. Many times you will separate from the anger. And once you separate, there will be a moment of transformation. Let's take it in some other way.
If I stop it, but I'm expressing inside. Again I'm listening.
So it is inside that you pause, not outside. It is inside that you pause. How will you pause inside? What? Tell me.
No, I was just saying that like you get angry, so at some point one has to realize that point where you transform and not release it either inside or outside.
So there will be many stages, no? I've written the letter and I'm going to post it, and I say, okay, I'm not posting it. Right? Now I've written the letter, I'm putting it in the cover, I'm not putting it in the cover. And I'm sitting down to write the letter and I stop. Then the thought of writing the letter, I start observing the thought. Why am I getting this thought? There will be so many stages, no? Stages. First you will stop at the post box. You won't post the letter. We've posted the letter, gone.
Gradually express
Gradually you will move back.
Yeah.
Step by step.
Step by step.
What did you work on? One has to work on it.
One has to observe. How will you pause? How will you pause? Supposing there is statue of the body and there's statue in the mind. What does it mean to be statue in the mind? And what does it mean statue of the body? We play statue. Statue of the body. Of course, nobody's statue in the mind when you say statue. Right?
Statue of thought in the mind.
Mind. How will you statue in the mind?
The last thought.
Yeah, you will hold the last thought. You will hold the last thought. You made me angry. I'll hold that thought. I'll statue over there. That is my last thought. You made me angry. I won't take interest in the other thoughts. The other thoughts will come. The other thoughts is, he has done this so many times to me. He has done this with others. He is like this. I'll keep on saying, he made me angry. I will statue with the last thought. And so many other thoughts will come and I'll have to keep on holding that statue. He made me angry. And at one point, the flow of thoughts will slow down. You have to statue in the mind. He made me angry. I banged my leg against the table. Just hold that last thought. So many other thoughts will come. Right? I told the wife not to put the table here, but she keeps on putting it here. Right? I banged my leg against the table. Right? See this. Right? And as you hold that thought, initially a whole barrage of thoughts will come. You'll be attacked by so many thoughts. Just hold that, and at one point they will slow down. Now you will be able to do something over there. You know the law of the jungle, no? The law of the jungle. Huh? Now if a lion comes near a flock of deer, a herd of deer, if all of them stand still, can the lion do anything? Can't do anything. The lion needs movement. The lion needs movement. Similarly, if you are still with one thought in the mind, no other lions can do anything. The minute one of the deer loses its patience and jumps, the lion knows where to go. So it's the law of the jungle inside. Right? You pause with one thought. Don't allow yourself to be interested in the other thoughts. They will come. They will come. You keep on saying inside like a mantra. On loop. You made me angry. You made me angry. All the other thoughts will come. Just wait, wait, wait. And they'll go away. The lions will go away. Because there's no movement. The minute you move, you're identified, gone. Then the chain of thoughts will start. You're caught up in the thoughts, and that's the end of the matter. All. Right? So, there's a sequence of Patanjali's sutras on this, which are very good. I don't, offhand I don't remember, but I'll just try to. Tawariya Sahib has done a beautiful translation of those sutras. I think it goes this way: the sequence of mental states are this. First, the mind reacts to that which is seen. First, the mind reacts to that which is seen. Then there is a moment of mind control. Then the mind control and the controlling factor relate with each other. Then all this goes away and the perceiving consciousness has full sway. Let's take this step by step. I think this is the translation. Is it the translation? We'll go this way. The sequence of mind states are number one, the mind reacts to that which is seen. Sorry. The mind reacts to that which is seen. Right? I see her, I get angry. The mind reacts to that which is seen. Or maybe she gives me some word and I get angry. The mind reacts to that which is seen. This is the first step. The mind reacts to that which is seen. Then follows a moment of mind control. Then you pause over there. Suddenly you become aware. I don't want to express this anger. My whole aim in life is to be free of anger. If I throw it out on her, then I'm going to become a slave to more anger. It is going to repeat and it is going to repeat. I don't want to be a victim of this repetition. I want to be free of anger. This is my aim. So there is a moment of mind control. Right? Then the third state, he says, is mind control. This is the pause, which I've paused inside. I'll put a bracket here, pause. And controlling factor. They interrelate with each other. I'll put this, interrelate with each other. The anger is trying to pulling you, that is controlling factor. The anger is controlling factor. You are trying to hold the mind, not allowing the mind to get angry, is mind control. So there is a tug of war between controlling factor and mind control. Right? So mind control and controlling factor, they are having a tug of war. Every time I give the same example because I have not found a more beautiful example, so I'll repeat the same example. I'm looking for a better example if anybody has one. There was this great Chinese master, Le Teju, right? And he went fishing. And he put a worm on the hook and he threw it in the water. And the fish came and caught the worm and he quickly pulled it out. The fish ate the worm and went away. So Le Teju said, too fast. Again he put a worm on the hook and he threw the line inside. And the fish came and he said, let the fish eat the worm properly, then I'll catch the fish. And the fish ate the worm and went away. So he said, too slow. Third time he put the worm and he threw the line, and the fish took the worm and the fish pulled a little. He pulled the line only that much amount in which the fish was pulling. Then the fish pulled a little more. He pulled only that much amount. At one point, the fish got caught on the hook. And he came home, he told his disciples, today I have learned the greatest lesson in life. When anger pulls, don't pull too fast, otherwise you will suppress it. Don't allow it to pull you, otherwise you will express it. Only pull that much amount in which the anger is pulling you. And the anger will pull, and the, line will pull. Controlling factor, mind, control. This is how Taoreji explains it. And each one will pull a little. At one point, the fish will be hooked. Then he says, then both go away. Mind control and controlling factor, both go away. The mind is empty of all the thoughts. There is only the perceiving consciousness, the observer. Then he says, both these go away, and what remains is just the process of pure observation. It's worth getting angry, no? Worth getting angry. Right? I don't remember Patanjali's original sutra. But this is how he has translated this sutra from Patanjali. Vyutthana, Nirodha, Abhibhav, Pradurbhav. Nirodha Kshana, Chitta Anvyaha, Nirodha Parinama. Patanjali calls this state of perceiving consciousness as Nirodha Parinam. Of course, the government has made this word Nirod terrible. Nirodha Parinam. So what Patanjali is saying? Vyutthan. Vyutthan means wastage of energy. Vyutthan means distribution, fragmentation. If I get angry, what does Patanjali call that state? Vyutthan. Any state in which I lose my energy in a reaction. He calls that state as Vyutthan. Vyutthan. And if I pause, hold that state, he calls it as Nirodh. So, he's saying Vyutthan Nirodh Abhibhava Pradurbhava. Till now, my state was whenever something like this happened, I always reacted. Always reacted. Now he is saying this habit of mind of reacting is going into the sunset. Patanjali is saying. It is going into the sunset. Pradurbhava. It is going. Now it's gone. It was, but now it is gone. My inner habit of reacting to every situation, Patanjali is saying, is now sunsetting. Going. It is setting forever. And the habit of Nirodha is rising. The habit of Nirodha is, so Patanjali is saying, Vyuttana Nirodha, Sanskar, Abhibhava, Pradurbhava. One is going, one is coming. One is setting, one is rising. This is a new habit which I have created of Nirodha, of pausing. Nirodha Kshana. Nirodha Kshana, Chitta Anvyaha. In that moment of Nirodha, in that moment of pause, I am in no man's land. I have not paused completely. I am not in anger completely. I am in that no man's land where mind control and controlling factor are relating to each other. Chitta Anvyaha. In that moment of pause. Vyutthan Nirodha Abhibhava Pradurbhava Nirodha Chitta Anvyaha Nirodha Parinam. Then they both go away and what remains is just the Parinam. Parinam means a transformation. Transformation. There has been a transformation. That anger has transformed. There is just the perceiving consciousness. The pause has also gone away. The anger which was trying to overpower the pause, both have gone away. Nothing now remains in the mind. All the thoughts which were trying to hypnotize me have vanished. I am now in that state where there is nothing. Everything is over. And that anger has transformed. Parinam means it has transformed. Then in the next sutra, Patanjali goes a little further and he says, Tasya prashanta vahita sanskarat. As you practice this, letting Vyutthan set, letting the reaction go, holding the pause, Nirodha Sanskar, coming to Nirodha Parinam, Patanjali says, as you practice this, it will become so easy, so spontaneous that you will not have to pause. The pause will happen automatically, spontaneous. Tasya prashanta vahita sanskarat. Then this new sanskar, first what was the sanskar of? Reaction. Now is the sanskar of pause, nirodh. This new sanskar of nirodh, this new sanskar will flow like a calm river. Tasya prashanta vahita. Prashant means calm river. Flowing, vahita, flow. Now you don't have to do anything. The pause happens automatically. The minute the anger tries to come up, the pause happens automatically. Tasya prashanta vahita sanskarat. Then It's not possible ever to get angry on anyone again. It is this state which we want to come to, and you have to practice for that. Voilà. So, answered your question. How to pause? How to pause?
We have to wait to get angry to practice this.
Huh?
We have to wait for some situation to come to practice this.
Every second it comes on its own.
Tauriya ji said that when I was 20, I had not experienced what is pain. So then I took a pin and started poking myself, just to experience what is pain. So maybe you could do something, I don't know. The situation is just next to you. Voila. Please do try to observe every moment. Which will am I in? Which force am I in? It's so important. So important. It is from here that our self-observation will begin. I'm going to try tomorrow to talk about the sex center before I talk about the other centers. Right? It's very important. Any other questions? Anyone? See, we have a whole go down full of second force, negative force. Right? The impulses of life come in, but we can't do anything because we have such a backlog of passive force. It is only through consciousness that tamas goes away, darkness goes away. Otherwise, it will keep on translating into suffering.
I have one question. When you told us about the active forces and the passive forces, like any even a good intention desire also is considered active and it has a passive force. And today we all want to come here with the intention of getting consciousness or awareness.
Yeah, so even the idea of having consciousness will create passive force. There's so many eyes inside, no? So the minute you decide that I want to now work for consciousness, the whole group of eyes will come who don't want it. Who want to go back to sleep. They are more interested in the sleep of life. They are lying there. They are lying there. They are just waiting for you to make the same. The minute you make it, there are so many inner desires. And passive force comes from anywhere. You see, in the old days, now of course it's not, but when we were young, supposing I would tell my father and mother that, okay, I want to go to an ashram to learn or something. This is not the age. You have to first get married, you have to have children, and then when you're 60, you go. Now a lot of young people are interested in these ideas. In those days, the minute you decided to do something, there was a passive force just waiting for you, round the corner. Now different kind of passive force. There's so much excitement in life. Digital excitement, so many other excitement. So passive force is all around. In the old days, it was a different kind of passive force. The minute they realize that this guy or this girl is deciding to do something out of that, get married immediately. Have 2-3 children. Passive force. So, different kind of passive.
You say we get angry. And on somebody, like you gave an example of a father getting angry on the child. So there is anger, so it's an expression, it's an outward expression. And you say the nature waits to take it away. It's a precious resource for the nature, so it takes it away. So what is taken in by the child? Is there something which is taken in by the receiving person also? If nature, somebody is expressing anger, and nature takes that energy away. So what is taken in by the receiving person? Because he is also receiving something.
That depends on the level of being of the receiving person.
The level of being of nature is at a much higher level, so it takes away the entire intensity of anger. So is there anything left the person can see? Or it's not the same energy?
The thing is that we lost.
No, the anger is going to go into nature. No, that fellow has an impression inside that somebody is getting angry on me. No, you're not getting it. Supposing I get an impression that you have insulted me, then I get angry. So I'm throwing it out in nature. I'm not giving it to you. It looks like I'm giving it to you. I'm throwing it out in nature. Now, if you take in that as an impression that who is he to get angry on me, then you'll get more angry. You'll give me more words or something of that sort. But in the end, it goes out to nature. Right? Now, in that impression of my getting angry, I strengthen my sanskar of vyutthan, reaction. So that I am now going to react more in life. I am more identified with life. I am more in the sleep of life.
It still stays in the mind. Nature is able to take it. I don't get angry outwardly, so the other person may not be offended immediately. But nature is still there to take it away. So that energy is taken away.
Yeah, I've got angry inside. The nature has taken the energy. That's the end of the matter. Nature has got what it wanted. No? Every moment nature will create situations in life. Anything. You may go out and your car is stowed away. So nature has created the situation. Now it's up to you.
What's the purpose of nature?
Huh?
What's the purpose of nature and getting anger energy?
It uses that energy for its own purpose. Maybe it wants to bring life where there is no life. It needs a higher...
It's not here, but somewhere it's there.
Somewhere else it is using that energy.
It's just the logic.
It's
just the logic.
What logic?
It's just the logic that it's using somewhere, but do we have any firm thing to say that?
You don't have scientific proof of it.
Any? Just we are just logic.
Hmm?
We are just having logic that nature is using somewhere. What?
Nature wants to bring life to parts of the universe where there is no life.
With anger? With
Anger, you see, we are terming that energy anger. It is a very high quality energy. It is using that energy for her purpose.
like are we creating a logic? Just a logic.
It's not logic. No? It needs some form of transformed energy. Man takes the energy from the sun and transforms it. Transforms it into thought, into this, into emotions, and throws it out into nature.
It's creating the energy in us. While we are throwing it, it's using somewhere.
But when we take energy from the sun, we are transforming it into a different energy. We are not giving back what nature has given to us. Ne? Okay, you not got it, is it?
Purpose, that's the confusion. The purpose.
Let's see, let's take the purpose in another way. Let's take the purpose in another way. For life, what is needed? Some form of divine energy. Right? See, at the moment of sex, some form of divine energy is put into that sex seed, cell, right? Which creates a new human being. Where does that energy come from? It comes from the divine inside. Right? Okay? Now, I'm going into a totally different thing, but I'll just... Supposing when we go to sleep at night, supposing we say that in deep sleep the soul merges into the spirit, the divine, and when it comes out in the morning it comes with a different energy which it cannot get from nature. It has got from the divine inside. And when we wake up in the morning, we wake up with a new energy which is not from nature. It has not come from the food, it has not come from the prana outside, it has come from the inner divine. And nature wants that energy because she has no other source of that energy. She uses that energy to bring life where she wants. Okay, now you don't get it still. You understood what I'm trying to say? That when we go to sleep, something merges inside. So when we wake up in the morning, we have gone into the deepest part of our being and come out. So we have some divine energy which is not from the food we eat, which is not from the sun. It is from a different source. And it is that energy which can give life. And nature wants that energy. She takes it. And the only way is by making us get angry, irritated, whatever. So she creates situations. Bolo. Well, what time to? It's getting warm also. Any other questions? What time we are meeting in the morning? We start at 10. Okay. If anybody has any questions, I'll continue.
Yes, sir. Who creates nature? Who creates the
Make an aim to wake up. Don't ask who did this and who did that. Huh? Otherwise you'll get into an endless, what do you call, brain gymnastics which has no meaning.